An artist takes on cancer. In 2011, at age 28, the songwriter and performer Benjamin Scheuer was given a diagnosis of stage 4 Hodgkin lymphoma, a cancer of the lymph nodes. He recounted his experience, along with other family perplexities, when he played himself in his one-man autobiographical musical, The Lion, which opened off-Broadway last year. In the new video Cure, directed by Peter Bainton and premiered here on Well, Mr. Scheuer conveys the dread that brands cancer patients, whether or not their type of disease is treatable. As sung by a self-proclaimed optimist who has been given the good odds of an 85% chance of full remission, Cure begins with a defenseless Mr. Scheuer, supine on a bed. The camera fragments him into body parts, a mouth, a limb, a trembling torso. From an area near his heart, where a port would have been implanted, rivulets of ink streak down his arms to the tip of his fingers, down his legs to cover the soles of his feet, branching over his quivering or convulsing midriff. The chemotherapy Mr. Scheuer received was called ABVD, adriamycin, bleomycin, vinblastine, and dacarbazine. Cure depicts the chemicals striking like lightning, as if to shock the body or map it with bombed roadways, tracking a jagged terrain. The speed of the tattooing brings to mind the words invasive and systemic. We are looking at a representation of cancer treatment, but the video evokes terror at the disease's malevolent capacity to spread quickly. For viewers familiar with Franz Kafka's story in the Penal Colony, the calligraphy on Mr. Scheuer's skin may recall the sentences, etched by torture machinery, on a condemned prisoner's body during the 12 hours it takes for him to die. Remarkably, though, the tone of the singer remains less shocked or shocking, more ruefully contemplative. In a quiet voice, Mr. Scheuer sings about learning the results of testing done after 12 treatments. Although throughout the ordeal he has been fighting panic and fear, they threaten to engulf him as he worries about ending up like his father, with cancer in his brain and his spinal cord. Clothing starts to grow over him, covering his marked body. Does his being passively clothed mean that he is being costumed for a coffin? After the doctor informs him that the treatment has worked, after his jacket is buttoned, Mr. Scheuer finally sits up, hearing the words "You're cured." But the sad final tones of his voice and guitar reflect his isolation in a room with bed sheets that remain indelibly imprinted with the sinister designs.